the story of Beauty and the Beast, which begins once upon a time. Always a good idea to, when you're telling stories, to let people know sort of roughly where you are and kind of when you're. So once upon a time just gives us that this was quite a long time ago. There was a rich merchant who had 3 daughters, and as he was going off on his travels to trade, to do business, he asked each of his daughters what they would like him to bring back from foreign parts. His oldest daughter said, "I would like a beautiful dress." His second daughter said, "I would like a pearl necklace." His third and youngest daughter said simply, "I would like a rose that you cut from a bush for me." So the merchant travelled alone, and he brought back for his 2 daughters. He bought the dress, he bought the pearl necklace. And as he was almost home, when he was caught in a storm, and his horse had great difficulty in running through the storm on the wet road. And the merchant must have been in fear of his life when he saw lights and thought, everyone is honour bound to offer hospitality to a traveller in need. And what he found wasn't simply a house, but a castle, brightly lit. So he rode up to the castle, and I like to think that because he was a nice man, he took care of his horse first and made sure that the horse was stabled. And although he knocked at the castle door, no one came to answer. Being cold and wet and hungry, he simply let himself in. As he walked through the castle, he found a table laid with delicious food, and a place set for one person, the wine cup and wine. So being hungry, he simply helped himself. He walked through the castle and found a lovely hot bath drawn and ready for him, and then he found a lovely soft bed. The next morning when he woke up, he wandered through the castle but could find no one, although breakfast had been laid out. So as he walked through the garden, he saw the most beautiful rose bush he'd ever seen. And remembering his promise to his third and youngest daughter, he picked one rose flower. And it was then that he heard a gruff and angry voice. "I have given you so much. I gave you hospitality. I gave you a warm place to sleep. I gave you food. And in return, you have stolen from me, from my rose garden." And the merchant looked round and saw there a figure dressed in fine, beautifully tailored clothes. But a figure so ugly, with a long snout, claws instead of fingers. And the merchant knew that the beast, or there was no other word to describe him, could kill him with one blow of a paw, should he choose. And this was, of course, what the beast threatened to do. But the merchant explained the rose was a gift for my youngest daughter. She is as beautiful as the morning, as kind and giving. And the beast must have thought he would like to meet a lady who was beautiful and kind and giving. So he said to the merchant, I will spare your life, even though you broke the rules of hospitality by stealing from me, if you bring me your daughter. So when the merchant went home and gave the dress and the pearls to his older daughters and the rose to his younger daughter, he told them the whole story. And his youngest daughter agreed. I will go to the castle. I will live with the beast. For he spared your life, and he must have a kind heart because he gave you so much hospitality. So the merchant took his youngest daughter to the castle, and although she was scared when she first saw the beast, after a little time, she realised that he was kind. It was nice living in the castle, although a little lonely at times. But she could walk in the garden and work at her embroidery. So time passed, but the beast realised that Beauty, for such was her name, was looking pale and drawn, and he realised that she missed her father and she missed her sisters. So he provided her with a magic mirror in which she could see all that was going on with her family. And it brought her much comfort to be able to watch her family. Until there came a time when she realised that her father was gravely ill. And she said to the beast, I must go. I must go to my family. I must go to my father, for I fear that he is dying. And the beast said, you can go, but come back to me. Come back to me in 7 days. So Beauty rode home. When she saw her father, she realised that what he was really suffering from was a broken heart. And when they hugged and embraced, his broken heart was healed. And by the end of the 7 days, he was back to his old self. And Beauty returned to the castle and returned to the beast. And she was so full of joy at her father's recovery that she embraced the beast. It was then that he said, will you consent to marry me? And Beauty, because she was so overwhelmed by everything that had happened, said yes. And it was then that his snout receded back into his face, and where once there had been a fur-covered beast with claws instead of fingers, stood a man who was young and handsome. And he said, this is my true form. I was cursed by an enchantress. And the only way that the curse could be revoked was if someone agreed to marry me and accepting me in my form as a beast. And so, well, you know how this ends. And this is your line. You get to say this. Come on. They lived. Go on. Happily ever after. As I hope shall all of you. Um, Not all the Brothers Grimm stories are so grim, really, are they? Although a lot of them do seem to have witches turned enchantresses, turning princes into strange things. But do subscribe to my channel, and do check out Brothers Grimm Facebook group, where there are links to my other Brothers Grimm stories. That do have a go at telling stories yourself, because it is lovely and stories do like to be told. And if you haven't already met him, ladies, I do hope you find your handsome prince one day. See you soon.